Hello guys, today we will learn the coccyx, the last bone in the osteology of abdomen and pelvis. Okay, we will look at the coccyx. Right. So coccyx came from the Greek word kakou, which is because the coccyx is in the shape of the beak of the cuckoo. You see in the beak of this cuckoo bird from front view. Okay, it resembles the coccyx. So came the name coccyx from cuckoo, right? So normally we call it as tailbone, right? It sits beneath the sacrum, right? This is the sacrum, is the lumbar vertebrae, and this one is the coccyx, right? The coccyx is small, triangular bone and is often asymmetrical in shape. It usually consists of 4 fused rudimentary vertebrae. Okay, 4, although number varies from 3 to 5. So coccyx varies from 3 to 5. It can be 3, 4 or 5, and the first is sometimes separate. The bone is directed downwards and ventrally, that means anteriorly, from the sacral apex. That means from the apex of the sacrum, it is directed downwards and towards the anterior side. Its pelvic surface, that means ventral surface or anterior surface, is tilted upwards and forwards, its dorsum downwards and backwards. Orientation varies with mobility and between individuals. See, we'll look at this coccyx, right? Um, see, this is the coccyx. You see, it's like a beak, right? This is the dorsal aspect. This is the ventral aspect. You see, this is tilted, right? There is an angle. It is downwards and anterior ventrally, right? Okay. So there is an articulation between sacrum and coccyx, right? You see how it sits like that. See, this is the sacrum. That is the articular facet, right? It has base, apex, and surfaces. You see, this is how it articulates with the sacrum, right? That is sacrum, and this is the tailbone. Okay, all of the bones, the coccyx are fused together, right? See, 1, 2, sorry, coccyx, 3, 4, right? The base or upper surface base, right, of the first coccygeal vertebral body has an oval articular facet for the sacral apex. So it articulates with the apex of the sacrum, right? Posterolateral to these, 2 coccygeal cornua project upwards to articulate with the sacral cornua, right? We have seen this in the last previous class. See, you see these are the cornua. Okay, these articulate with the sacral cornua, right? You see, the cornua articulates with the sacral cornua, right? That is the Cornua of the sacrum, right? You see the articulation as the base and apex are articulate. So the cornuas, sacral cornua and coccygeal cornua articulates with each other, right? Coccygeal cornua present upwards. They are homologous to the pedicles and superior articular processes of the other vertebrae. Okay. A rudimentary transverse process projects superolaterally from each side of the first coccygeal body and may articulate or fuse with the inferolateral sacral angle, completing the fifth sacral foramen. So there is a rudimentary transverse process that together with the inferior lateral angle, inferolateral angle of the sacrum and this transverse process is raised to the fifth sacral foramen, S5 foramen, right? You see, this is the inferolateral. This is the inferolateral angle of the sacrum, right? The second to fourth coccygeal vertebrae diminish in size and are usually mere fused nodules. They represent rudimentary vertebral bodies, though second may show traces of transverse process and pedicles. The gap between the fifth sacral body and the articulating cornua, that means infralateral angle, presents on each side an intervertebral phenomena that transfers the fifth sacral spinal nerve. The dorsal rama descends behind the rudimentary transverse process, and the ventral ramus passes anterolaterally between transverse process and sacrum. Right? So, this is the infralateral angle. Sacral cornua, coccygeal cornua. This is the body. This is the base, right? This is the transverse process. See, base, cornua, and transverse process, right? All the remaining are fused together, right? And here it is, there is an articular facet for the apex of the sacrum. Coming to the attachments, the lateral part of the pelvic surface, including the rudimentary transverse process, give attachment to the levator ani and coccygeal muscles. The anterior sacrococcygeal ligament is attached to the front of the first and sometimes second coccygeal vertebral bones. The cornua gives attachment to the intercornual ligaments. That means intercornual ligament means the cornua of the sacrum and cornua of the coccyx bind together, right? That is called as intercornual or interarticular ligaments. Lateral sarcodoxal ligament connects transverse process of the infralateral sacral line. And there is gluteus maximus attached to the dorsal surface. And both levator ani and sphincter ani externus are attached to the tip of the bone. The median area gives attachment to the deep and superficial posterior sacral coccygeal ligaments, the superficial descending from the margins of the sacral hiatus and sometimes closing the sacral canal. The phylum terminal, situated between two ligaments, blends with them on the dorsum of the first coccygeal vertebra. Right, we'll see them. So this is the pelvic surface, this is the dorsal surface. Here attached are the coccygeus, and here attachment of levator ani and sphincter ani. Right? This is dorsal aspect, that means back, posterior aspect. Here there is gluteus maximus. See, this is the sacrococcygeal joint. Right? These are how we have already seen that. Anterosacrococcygeal ligament, posterior, superior posterior, deep posterior, lateral, and intercorneal ligaments. You see, this is the anterior sacrococcygeal ligament, which is a continuation of the anterior longitudinal ligament. Okay, this is just a continuation of the anterior longitudinal ligament, right? Anterior sacrococcygeal ligament, and here are the posterior sacrococcygeal ligament, superior, posterior, right? These are the superior, and this one is the deep posterior sacrococcygeal ligament, and this one is the lateral sacrococcygeal ligament, right? You see, again, this is the zoomed picture. This one is superficial, right? Green is deep, whereas yellow is lateral. See, this is the posterior sacrococcygeal ligament. Right? So you see, these are the muscles, right? This is the sacrum, right? And this is the coccygeus, right? That is the coccygeus muscle. This is the levator muscles. Levator part of the levator. This pubococcygeus and iliococcygeus. This is also called as levator muscle, right? You see how they are attached to the sacrum. Coccygeus, pubococcygeus is the levator, right? This is coccygeus. Coming to the dorsal aspect. Okay, this is gluteus maximus. It is attached to sacrum, right? And here it is again anal sphincter. Levator and sphincter is attached to the sacrum, right? See, okay, that is the muscles. And you see, last time we see sympathetic chain, right? So this is the sympathetic chain and trunk. Left side, this is right side. So both sides fuse together here. Okay, the one side of the sympathetic chain meets the other side at the, and it is called as ganglion empire, right? This ganglion empire is on the pelvic aspect of the sacrum, right? On the pelvic aspect of the sacrum, right? Remember that ganglion empire, right? And coming to the next, see how sacrum coccyx is related to the phylum terminae. Okay, that is phylum terminae. Okay, under the spinal cord, right? Phylum terminae, right? Attached to the sacrum. This is the phylum terminae. So the structure is phylum terminae. And these are the blood vessels, right? See, the selected structure here is called as coccygeal body. It is rudimentary and vestigial organ in human beings, right? Usually it appears as a glomus tumor. It is called as coccygeal body. It is also very near to the ganglion empire and the pelvic aspect of the sacrum, right? and this is median sacral artery, middle sacral artery, okay, from the abdominal aorta, okay, remember that. So let's wrap up together. This is the base, these are the corner, right, transverse process, ganglion impart, attachment of the coccygeus muscle. In the dorsal aspect, there is gluteus maximus muscle, right, and also there is attachment of phylum termini, right, and intracranial, right. With that, we will conclude the anatomy of the coccyx. Okay, clinically, whenever somebody complains of pain in the coccyx, okay, pain at the tailbone is called as coccydynia. Okay, painful coccyx. There are many causes for the coccydynia. Usually, it is in women. The usual cause is a childbirth. Okay, while giving birth, coccyx may undergo some severe pressure, right, and it giving rise to the pain called as coccydynia, and sometimes repeated injuries, repeated pressure, right, and frequent falling. All these produces coccydynia, right? If you have any doubts, let me know.